So we are recording now. So hello everybody, welcome to the NX Show pre-show. Uh, Me and Jesse had a really great discussion just about history and politics, and that may sound boring, but we actually have a question that I can't wait to ask this one because it kind of related to what the question was asked for the NX Show. But we're gonna save it for that
Yeah.
much.
I'll just
Uh,
say this, like what brought it on is I wanted to read it. I'm like I like certain history things and learning about different cultures and and like how certain cultures became to be and things like that. And so I wanted to read it, but I decided it would be easier for me to just get it in audiobook form, so I got the book 1491.
I
And
thought you said
so
1942.
no, 14 it's 1490, it's 1491.
Oh, I thought you said 1942. That's
No,
how I was just
no,
like,
four no 1491, because
okay.
1492 Columbus sailed the ocean. So it takes place and talks about the history of Native Americans and all that kind of stuff before people started colonizing the what would become the United States. But yeah,
Yeah.
the Americas or whatever. So yeah, and so we were just talking. I was talking about stuff like that, and then got into other things, and, and then before you
we
know
we was having our late night Xbox conversations
yeah,
just
yeah,
just way before the show. But this one is going to kind of be different because Jesse went to Disneyland, and I, for the first time, actually got to sing at a Jewish church. Um,
so,
for I think Yom Kippur, like for their Jewish holiday and stuff. So
okay.
it's kind of interesting on that we both actually did something. So I'm actually going to start with you, Jesse, and also we're going to try to get right in so he can talk a little bit about TwitchCon. So we
Okay,
all been
yeah,
busy,
yeah,
and unfortunately, everybody, our good friend Corey couldn't make it. Boss man, he is working very hard. He wanted to let me tell you guys, and I will also say this in the show, that he missed you all. He missed being on the podcast. He works hard for the money, but not hard for us, honey. But he does do a lot, and so we are wishing him great strength, good health, that he completely completes the job, and um, yeah, and he'll be back. We'll all four be back next week, to talk more about stuff. Because there are some things that I will be presenting to you guys in the show and to the audience. Uh, that there is going to be a little bit of a change for the next show started in October, and I think it's going to be really good. I think more people are going to enjoy it and everything. But Jesse, I'm going to start with you. How was Disney World?
it was a blast. Like I had done it only I had only been there one other time before this, and I did go then with my wife's family as well, but we didn't have kids yet then, so that was before we had kids. And we did the whole like only pay for the parks that we were going to go to or whatever, and then stay at a hotel outside of Disney. And like I enjoyed the Disney part, but like that first time, but at the same time it was just such a hassle. And we didn't really honestly get that much time of the day to truly just enjoy the parks, because every time we wanted to eat, or like we packed lunch things, like little small things that we could eat while we were in the park, because they do allow you to bring carry-in stuff.
Yes.
But for like a lot of the times when we wanted to do dinner, we would have to leave the park and then go somewhere else. And I had a lot of bad experiences. I like the one place we went to, um it took over an hour for us to get our food, And then when I did get my food, it was like not even remotely close to what I ordered.
Mhm.
And it wasn't like she just like accidentally gave my what I ordered to someone else at our table and gave me their stuff. It was like just everyone except for me had their meal that they had ordered. I had something completely not what I ordered. And so I was so mad at already having to wait an hour to get food, like an hour from the second we ordered to when we got it. And then on top of it, then I get my food and it's not even what I ordered. And so then I had to wait for them to remake my food. And like I was just so done, like at that point, I was just like, I don't care. At this point, I've waited an hour to eat. You screwed up my food. What's to wait, another half an hour or whatever it's gonna take for them to make it again? I'm just like, no, make I'll just keep this and eat what I want on it. You make my meal and just put it in a to-go box. And so that's what they did. But but yeah, like I enjoyed the Disney part of that, but but like as a whole, that experience wasn't that great when compared to this time. So this time we did the meal plan where basically you have this watch shaped thing that's got a Mickey symbol on it.
Uh-huh.
And that it's basically like using like the Apple Pay and stuff like that, where you can just touch it on the reader thing on where you slide your card to pay for stuff. And then we had like you could have 2 snacks a day. You could have and then a lunch that was paid for, and then one sit down nice fancy meal for whatever you decided to pick it for.
Yes.
So basically whenever we would go somewhere, I could just scan that to if I want to get some kind of treat. And I mean, like they would have like like donuts that were just like massive, and
Uh-huh.
or just like these really nice like fancy like chocolate cakes or whatever. Like it was literally like a town. Like you would have a bakery, you would have a bar, you would have a gift shop, you would have a coffee shop, you would have like everything. And whatever was on the list that you could consider use to buy with your thing as a snack would have this little symbol next to it. And so like it was just nice not having to worry about leaving the park, that we could just like grab stuff while we were out and about, and
Yes.
not have to like really dig into the time that we had there for that kind of stuff. And it just made the experience so much better. Now mind you, like I was thinking, we go during this time of the year, it will be a little bit cooler. No, it was like 90. It was miserable in that sense, but you just after a while I try not to pay attention to how miserably hot it is and just enjoy it. But and then like we got to pick out a mug when we first got there.
Yeah.
That like a Disney mug, and then that mug you could go. They had those Coke machines that have like every single flavor of every single soda or drink that they make.
Yes.
All in one dispenser, and then you could just put that cup on there, and you got unlimited refills because it had like a chip in the bottom of the cup that would sit on a reader. And so like it was just nice, especially when it was really super hot like that. I was like constantly drinking like Gatorade or Powerade or whatever their brand is.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Apollo. Thank
What's
you
up?
for joining us. I
I'm
know
just
you want,
listening to Jesse talk about Disney.
Yeah.
So.
I
Yeah,
know
and
you
that-
want cuddles and chicken today.
Mhm.
I fell out laughing. I'm just like, he is just so amazing. But he
That's
needs
all.
to get ready for the show.
That's all I want.
Yeah,
You-
the one thing that I really want to touch on though, like really quick,
uh,
is like if you get a chance to go, Like if someone listening and you haven't maybe been there in a little while or whatever, um, make sure you go to the Star Wars thing. And what's nice is I was actually reading about this, as a lot of people were afraid that that area was going to be way, 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 way too crowded. And so there's been this effect where people have been ignoring it because they think that it was going to be way too crowded. And in turn, it's actually made it where there's like there still was a lot of people there, but it wasn't as bad as you'd think it would be because people are intentionally ignoring it, thinking that it's going to be the super overcrowded place. And so it actually, like, I think we waited 45 minutes or less than that to get on the main ride there, that where you go in as a 6-man group, and one person or you have 2 people pilots, 2 people gunners, and 2 people mechanics.
Yeah.
And so like one pilot controls the vertical thrusts, and then the other one controls the horizontal. So like moving the ship back and forth, one does that and one has to do the up and down. And then I was the gunner for the left side, and then my wife was the gunner for the right side. So we would have to, like if a ship was flying off this way, I would have to try to shoot it, and then if it was the other way, my wife had to shoot it. And then the engineers would basically, if we got shot or whatever, they would have to, push all these. You'd have to push buttons. Like it was like you were in like a ship, and you've got these screens and buttons, and you got all this stuff. And then what it was is just in front of us, it was just one big screen, and it's all 3D. So like it feels like you're literally in a ship, and it's shaking when you're getting shot at, and it's, like when you're going down really fast, it's, like you feel like the force of it going down. And it was just an amazing ride. It was so much fun.
You use your blackout skills.
Yeah, for the most part, it's like basically all it is you're pushing buttons, and it's kind of doing like almost like an auto lock thing. But like somewhat of a button pressing has something to do with where it's shooting, but the majority of it is kind of locking onto things. And then also if you go, you also want to definitely go to Animal Kingdom and do that at night, because that's where they have the Avatar experience. Like they have a whole area that looks like you're in Pandora or whatever. I believe, yeah, it's Pandora, right? That in Avatar, the place that they go. Do you remember, Ray?
No.
Is it? Okay. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Pandora that you're in in the movie Avatar. But
I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah.
And so basically the whole area looks like the Pandora, the world, that the planet that they're in, and Avatar. But the thing is the best time is to go at night, because like every single plant or thing that you see around that's not real, obviously, to look like the weird exotic plants that they have on Pandora, actually have lights inside of them. So so at night everything lights up, and then like all the lights, like the lamps, there's like almost like street lights, like every once in a while over the walk paths. Well, those are actually black lights. And so those turn on, and then everything is illuminated by black lights. But what you don't realize during the day, when you're walking on the ground, it just looks like regular ground. But there's actually different designs in the ground that were made with the like the fluorescent colors. So at night everything lights up, and you see these paths of all these like oranges and like all these different colors. Like in the walkway that you only can see once the black lights are on. It all lights up. Yeah, so like the ground just like lights up with all these different cool colors, and like all the plants and everything are lit up, and then they've got the big, the big tree, the tree of life or whatever it's called, like is right in the middle of this like whole Pandora area. And then at night they shine all different kinds of cool colored lights on it, so it all lights up with different colors, and like it's just such an awesome experience at night. And like yeah, and it's definitely something like it's cool enough during the day, but you're really not getting the full experience unless you go late at night and do it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and the nice thing is too is like in my opinion, Animal Kingdom as a whole is something you should do later in the day, because like the whole one of the main attractions there is obviously the you go on these big like truck things, and it's like you're on a safari. So you're driving through areas where you're literally in, there is no pen. Like the animals can roam around, and sometimes the ride will get delayed because animals will be on the driving path. Like, and so you got to just sit there and wait for them to move sometimes and stuff like that. And so, being that there's a lot of like cat animals there, like, like lions and stuff like that. A lot, lions, stuff like that, a lot of them are nocturnal, so they're going to be more active during, the nights, later in the day. And so like a lot of the animals were more active during the night anyways, so it kind of is incentive to go later in the day anyways. And then you can go do it. What we did is we did all that kind of stuff. And then once it was like dark out, then we went and we looked at the whole Avatar stuff and like had a drink and stuff like that. So
I apologize, everybody. I'm sorry. Just got a phone call from the mechanics of my car's fixed, so that's why I had to leave. I do apologize.
Good.
Wait a minute. Sorry to cut you off, Jesse.
No, I kept going. So
yeah, he did. He was telling me about, like, he finally sold me. I've gone and done all of Disney, but I've never done Animal Kingdom because I'm like, I've been to a zoo. I don't need to see no more animals. But you might have sold me on the Pandora thing. That sounds really cool.
Well, and it's the other thing that's nice about Animal Kingdom too is like I just like the whole fusion of like culture and stuff like that, and like like they have a lot of dancing and stuff and music that goes on, and yeah, I mean a lot of that can be more targeted towards kids, but like they had some of the best food there. Like
now you're really selling to me on it. You know what to talk about.
with my quick meal, that I actually used my quick lunch meal there, and I got like a full rack of ribs and like I forget what else I got. Oh, they had like some kind of like cheese fries or something like that I got.
I like the rib idea way better.
Yeah. No, they were amazing ribs too. They were like so good. So yeah, they had some really good food there too. But yeah, like I, being an animal lover, like the Animal Kingdom has kind of always been one of my like, sought after places that I would really wanted to go when we first went. But yeah, but then they didn't have the Pandora, and now this time I definitely can say that it is definitely worth going to, like, like the animal part and the Pandora is just an amazing. It was definitely a nightlife type place, like, because all that stuff's going on, and then people, are just kind of like having a good time. And they had this really cool drink like that they make, like you can get it either with alcohol in it. They have an alcoholic version.
Glow?
Yep, it does.
I'm sold.
Yep. They put these little gourd shaped things in your drink, and then it lights up different colors or whatever. So
Yes, please. Yeah, so that sounds like a plan for me because I'm a big sucker for the Star Wars stuff, and I know I'm
yeah,
saving now to just go ball out hard at the Star Wars thing because I've always wanted a freaking lightsaber,
yeah,
and
yeah,
why not go and actually build one at Star Wars
yeah,
Land?
yeah, yeah. They have a cheaper version you can build,
Uh,
but yeah, there's there's an area. And I didn't see it. I didn't go to it. I went to the droid one and I took pictures of it where you
mhm.
can build your own droid. That was really
Yes, I
cool.
saw that
They've
too. Yeah.
they've got like fake like droid like parts from the
Mhm.
movie
Yeah.
like circling around on
So
a
yeah,
thing. But
I'm saving
yeah,
for my big vacation to go do all that because I just want to
yeah,
go. I want to go buy everything in Star Wars Land, just straight
yeah,
up. That's what I want to
yeah,
go do.
yeah.
Well,
And if you if you can afford it, I suggest going the meal plan route to it,
Yeah,
like
you talking
staying
about
at a
that
place.
makes real good sense. And I
Bec-
remember you talking about staying on resort. Never go off resort when you're at Disney.
no,
Just stay
no,
at Disney.
yeah,
Like 100%. It like
yeah.
just never go off resort.
Can of
well,
Don't.
a can of Monster, they wanted in Disney, they wanted to charge you $6 for a regular can of Monster. So I'm like, yeah, I'm really glad that we have this meal plan thing, and I can just
Uh-huh.
be like, like, dude,
that's
Uh-huh.
interesting. You're green now, Ray.
oh,
I'm
he's
green
good now. There, he's
Oh,
good.
okay.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, but
So, thank you, Jesse. I'm sorry to cut you off because
no,
I want to get to Ray and hear about TwitchCon.
yeah, me too.
So you want to hear about TwitchCon, huh?
Yes.
So yeah.
We're in a pre-show, so
Well, no, I got to go to TwitchCon 2019. Just it meant we at first we were like, we're not gonna be able to go, and then it worked out where we found some really cheap flights to Los Angeles first of all, and then we had to drive to San Diego, which still worked out. We thought that was gonna be horrible, but the drive really wasn't that bad, especially down to 405, which was kind of like a bucket list thing. We didn't know was a bucket
Mhm.
list, but it was really cool. But TwitchCon itself is this. I didn't really know what to compare TwitchCon to because I didn't have anything to compare it to. You know what I'm saying? I have been to other conventions. I've been to PAX East. I've been to PlayStation Experience. But this was on a whole different level, and I think it's because it's a whole bunch of creators in one space.
yeah.
So TwitchCon takes up the San Diego Convention Center, which is one of the best convention centers on the planet, by the way. The way it's laid out, it works. It works so well. I'm kind of like every convention center needs to take notes from this place because, man, it works. I First of all, I love TwitchCon. TwitchCon was something I was hoping for all these years, but also just to kind of feed off of the energy of everybody else that's there. You know, it's like all these people are in this place because they love doing stuff on Twitch or they love certain people on Twitch. And not only that, of course, there's a bunch of sponsors and booths and just all kinds of crazy stuff. Speaking of food that costs a lot of money, Jesse, I paid $8 for a Gatorade and a banana, and I'm mad about it. So
Ooh.
yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Gatorade and a banana, $8. Convention food.
Yeah.
But there was just so much to do. There was almost actually no, there was too much. I couldn't do everything I wanted to do. I had to pick and choose because there are people I wanted to see, games I wanted to watch, companies I wanted to connect with, and so I had to sacrifice on all three ends. Honestly, they had GDQ there, and I have always wanted to go watch like SGDQ like in person, and I got to do it for like 10 minutes because everything else was my schedule was just it was full, honestly.
Yeah.
But man, I just even to be there for the 5-10 minutes that I was really cool. Because I love SGDQ, AGDQ. I love it. I love it. It's one of my favorite things. But then
And-
they had Twitch Rivals like stadium, and that was incredible. Like esports, like right there, and it was just like I love this. This is what I want. I want to be able to go do this on the weekends. Go to a stadium and watch my favorite esports teams play. I want to do that.
and that's why I kind of, when they were showing Splatoon 2 off with the Switch and everything, I was just like, this is what I want to go see. I want to go see the Pokemon like battles and everything, not just the card games. Because I think if you're able to go see like a big tournament like that, that's always cool. And I think that's why Evo is such popular. And that's such a big thing for the gaming community, because you get to see all these people coming from around the world to play these fighting games, but then there's some weird out fighting game that you've never heard of, and you just seeing these mugs go at it.
But no, it's so I mean, I guess to not go too far into it, I got to play some really cool games at TwitchCon that are I got to play Everspace 2, which I remember I freaked out about from E3.
Well,
and when I was there,
save that for when we get to the games get down.
But man, I don't know. I love TwitchCon, and I definitely have already told myself I'm going back next year. I'm going back next year. I got to meet so many amazing people from the community, and a lot of people just that I didn't know I would ever meet, that I made some new connections with that are awesome. It was such a easy way for you to go and meet other people who are interested in things like you. And that's what made it really special for me. It felt like a big Twitch family, honestly. There was so much. It was just so much,
One of our employees, he just came back from TwitchCon, and I was just like, I told him about you, Ray, but of course he didn't. Yeah. He had just started back working, and I was just like, oh, I wish he was there to meet one of my good friends, Ray Apollo. Y'all would have been like, oh, you know Ed? I know Ed. And then it was just probably been a conversation that would have been like, wow. So
good old Ed. But yeah, I loved it. It was great. It was awesome. Great.
So I don't have much to talk about. We're gonna get to the show real soon. I went to my first Jewish church.
Oh,
and they were doing, I think it's Yom Kippur. They were celebrating their New Year, and this event, this concert, or if you want to see it as that, was bringing different churches from around the community and coming together to sing at this event. So my friend, he had asked me if I could come along and help and come sing, and I said yeah. So that's why I was gone for 2 weeks for the rehearsals and everything. And when I looked into the crowd, there was just a wide range of diversity there, and it was really cool to see how Jewish people celebrate and everything, but just how live gospel or kind of music can just enrich everybody's life and make people feel good and stuff. And just to see all these kids and older people jump up and down and everybody be like, hey, like you have over 200 people in a church all saying, hey, like everybody was a cool kid. And it was so fun to see that. I'm just like, I have never experienced anything like this. I'll be back next year. I'm sucked into it now. My friend gonna be like, yeah, I gotta make sure that you're in the tender section again. I'm like, thank you. But it was such fun to see, such fun to be involved within, and it was a great ministry sign, and their pastor or their rabbi, I should say, their rabbi was so funny. he was a comedian, but he really brought a good word and everything. But just having that experience to go into another denomination and be able to sing some songs, and I learned some Hebrew stuff, and I'm just like, what in the world is this? I was just like, okay. And I was never discouraged or anything. I didn't make fun of nobody or anything like that. I kind of found myself singing this Hebrew like it was Latin. Because when you sing in Latin, there's ways to say the consonants and the vowels and everything. And I was kind of using that, and I was just like, no, that's the wrong way to say it. But I fixed it and everything, and it was just a real blast. It was so fun. I think I was the token black guy in it, but there was other races in there, and it was just so much fun. So hopefully I would be able to do it again next year. Now I got to prepare for the holiday concert at another college that I always sing when I get a chance, and singing Christmas songs with their students, and who are trying to be doctors and nurses and stuff. So
Okay.
it's going to be fun. So
Mhm.
but that one is going to be on a weekday, and so the show or anything won't be affected. But yeah, it's very exciting. So everybody, that's what we all been doing, and Corey, he's just been working very hard getting things together. But it's great that you got some time off, Jesse, that you got to have fun.
Yeah.
I'm so excited by you, Ray, being at
Mhm.
TwitchCon and meeting different people, and all the photos that you posted. They were funny and everything. And I think I gave you some yeses here and there. And yeah, and me doing what I was doing. But everybody, we will be all back together next week to give you guys a full show and break down what are the new things coming to the NX show. But we are going to get it in. Is everybody ready? Anyone need a break or anything?
I'm ready.
Oh, I'm good.
Oh well, let's get into it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the NX show. I am your host, the enraging, the encouraging, and the engaging Mr. Eddie V. Joining me, as always, it's the wise Wisconsinite, Mr. Jesse Douglas.
How's it going, everyone?
Yes. And our streaming champion, Mr. Ray Apollo.
Well, hello there. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yes. Our boss man, as always, Mr. Corey Derrick. He couldn't make it this episode. He's working hard, getting things ready. Like, he is a busy man. Great dad, great boss man. He wanted us to tell everybody that he missed us all. He missed you guys as the audience, and that he will be back next week to podcast with us. And I miss boss man. We actually had a really good discussion because one of the games that I'm going to be talking about on the show actually led into a discussion about Destiny, and we spent 15 minutes on Power Block talking about Destiny. It was it was a really good discussion, and Corey had to cut it, cut the conversation because we had to move on. We could have literally spent a lot once again talking about Destiny and everything. And no, we didn't talk anything about Shadowkeep yet because he hasn't had the chance to play it. But I heard that when it first came out, it was a hard time for people to get into that game because it was packed. But we're going to do some quick housekeeping. And then we're going to get into this good old show. Yes. Because we have a lot to talk about. A lot of Sony news has dropped, and we have to touch on it. But welcome to the NX show, your source for video game news, analysis, and other shenanigans. You can catch us here on twitch.tv/the NX show or on codenamenx.com/live. Also on Mixer and on Corey and HD 713. Every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific for pre-show, followed by the podcast. If you can't join us live, no big deal. You can head on over to codenamenx.com, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or your podcast service of choice on Tuesday mornings for a fully edited show to consume. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The NX Show and like The NX Project's Facebook page. You can also join our Facebook group when it's not a secret group. We will be updating you on content in the coming weeks, and we have a few cool things planned. So, with that in mind, if you have any questions, you can tweet at us, look for the question thread in our Facebook community, or email us at contact@codenamenx.com. We'll also be taking live questions in Twitch chat. Remember, you can find all of our content on codenamenx.com, including all of our videos, old content, reviews, blogs, live streams, and more. So with that being said, we got some games to get down. But even before we get to that, shout out to Greg. He is part of our he's been doing the NX challenge with us. And so he just beat Hollow Knight, Greg Cardwell, I think that is. Sorry if I messed your name up, Greg. I'm looking for it now. But he beat, no, it's not Caldwell. Goodness, I'm a bad host at this moment. But Greg is participating also in the NX Challenge. Greg Shinobu, he just beat his 5th game, which is Hollow Knight, and he's gonna go back and try to get 100%. Right now he has 2 Yoshi coins because he beat an indie game. If he gets the 100%, he'll get 5 Yoshi coins. And I got something very good planned for him, and I think he's definitely going to enjoy what I have for him. But I can't ruin it yet. We still have more to play. We have it to almost the end of December to find out. Will Jesse, will he take the lead and win? Am I winning? Am I in the lead? Will Corey actually beat more games so he can give more points? We don't know. Because we are going to do this NX Challenge next year also. Because now that we have you, Ray, I think you're going to like this. It's a fun challenge. And just to let everybody know what the NX Challenge is that we're playing Nintendo and Xbox games. That's in our backlog category. Library. We're only playing everything up to 2018 and back, so anything for 2019 does not count. If you want to do PC, you can do PC also because of Windows and everything. So definitely with Ultimate Game Pass coming out, you can add it onto that. So the
PlayStation too. Like now that we're kind of including, because at that time it was like we only did PAL Block and Arsenal X, and so yes. I think we could include everything now, or at least PlayStation and
we can include PlayStation. Then that adds more points and stuff. So if you guys are now joining us, you want to know about the NX Challenge, we're gonna fully go in because next year is gonna probably be the same thing, but we're gonna be adding 2019 games for in case if people didn't beat it. So what it is that if you get 100% in the game, whether it's Nintendo, PlayStation Now, PC or Xbox, you get 5 Yoshi coins. If you beat a first party game, you get 4 Yoshi coins. If you beat a third party game, you get 3 Yoshi coins. If you beat an indie game, you get 2 Yoshi coins. And then if you get halfway through the game, 50% halfway through the game, you would get a Yoshi coin. You get 1 Yoshi coin. So even if you go back and check your progress and you post it and we see that you got that 1%, that you got that 50%, we'll give you a Yoshi coin at the end of the year. We want everybody to post their pictures if they beat the game and just for evidence to show that, hey, this is what I did. And then you just add your own Yoshi coins. There is a bet going on between me, Ray, and Corey. If I win, Ray and Corey, not Ray, sorry. Jesse and Corey, I apologize. Jesse and Corey have to play a game of my choice. If Jesse or Corey wins, I owe them. I think I said I would buy you guys an Xbox controller or something.
I don't remember.
I
don't. It was something like that, or a game or something. I don't remember.
Like I would buy them something, So I think it's if you or Corey won, I will buy you guys a customized Xbox controller. So you'll customize it and then I'll pay for it. Or reimburse how we go about that. But if I come out on top, they have to play a game of my choice, and then we start all of it. We'll start it all over, and because Greg has been participating and showing something in it, I do have something very special planned for him. So once again, thank you, Greg, for playing. Continue to play. All of this will end the 4th week of December. So we'll add up all our Yoshi coins and talk about all the games that we beat and everything. And then
I still got to figure out what I beat because I'm so bad I never wrote it down.
Well, since I beat Wolfenstein 2 on PlayStation 4, I can add that to my list since now we're adding PlayStation games.
Yeah.
So, but let's get into this games. Get down, Ray. You've been playing a lot of games. So, what games have you been getting down to?
So I have been, yeah, it's been a lot. Um, so most recently, I finished the Goose Game. Goose Game is done. Just what a fun game. What a fun game. Like, just if you want a fun game that's just chill and easy to play, play the Untitled Goose Game. Oh my goodness, it was so much fun. I loved it.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else did I play? I started playing Citadel Forged with Fire. It is a magic and fantasy style game, but it's survival. So like you can tame dragons and phoenixes and have them as mounts. You can fly around. So you build stuff. You have a lot of, like, I have a wand as my main weapon and an axe that can shoot magic. It's great. I love it. I got that one at TwitchCon. So I played that at TwitchCon, and they gave me a beta code for it at TwitchCon. It'll be out on consoles in November. So
Nice.
hope for that. It'll be pretty cool. Then I also have been playing Skyweaver. Skyweaver is it's a trading card game that is built in blockchain. Like, it's got blockchain functionality. So like none of the cards are owned by the company. The cards are legitimately owned by the player. It's connected to your account. And they actually have some kind of, and this isn't their main focus, but it's just a really cool thing, is that these cards do have actual monetary value, which is really cool because of blockchain functionality. Like, there's a lot of really smart stuff behind the scenes on that. But it's actually a really good card game, because I think that Hearthstone is too easy, and I think that Magic is kind of boring. And it combines the two of those really well for me. It's got the appeal of Hearthstone, but the complexity of Magic, and I really like that. I've been playing it on because you can play it on anything with a browser. You can play it on your browser. I'm playing it on my iPhone. It's just a lot. It's wonderful. I love it. So
Yes.
I've been playing that. Let's see, what else did I just recently finish? There's been so many games that I'm like, oh well, that's done. We finished Link's Awakening. Absolutely fantastic remake. I love every bit of that game. So much fun. It's gorgeous. I mean, other than the frame rate, game is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I kind of like, if they're gonna remake more Zelda titles, like, yes, please.
Yeah, Grezzo did a fantastic job.
So no, I'm a big fan. Also played a little bit more Dragon Quest XI S on the Switch, because it's one of the greatest games of all time. So yeah, there's that. What else? I mean, I could keep going. There's a lot of stuff I'm playing. A lot of stuff on Apple Arcade, because I'm still a big fan of Apple Arcade.
Nice.
But yeah, those are the standouts for me right now. And I probably forgot something, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I seen your little clip of the Goose Game.
Oh my god.
You're just like, the goose is kind of vulgar, and I'm just like, wait, what is going? Wait, huh? I'm just like, oh, great. I love you so much.
I was like, had anybody done that yet? And I hadn't seen it, so I was like, I'm gonna make it.
Yes. So, well, that's awesome. Jesse, what games have you been getting down to?
So I like the Xbox that I have, like, it doesn't read discs, or at least my One X doesn't read discs.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of go back into Overwatch, and unfortunately I only had it in disc form, so I couldn't really play it on my One X. And so it was on sale for, I think, under $20. So I ended up picking that up again and started playing that, and I've really actually been enjoying it. So I've kind of picked that up and been playing that again. A new season started in Blackout or Black Ops. So I've been playing that quite a bit again.
Yeah, me and you were talking about that while you was recording it. And when we was recording, Did I ask you that if it was a new place? Like if it was a new map, or is it
No,
just more was added to the section already?
yeah, it like they like tweak things every once in a while and make things look a little different. But it's essentially it's the same map. They've added some area. They've like since the last well, I don't think you've played since like the beta, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't picked it
so
up yet.
yeah,
Or
so
picked it up.
they added like there's like a boat. The boat level they added from the Black Ops games. There was like the big cruiser, or not cruise, the I don't know what it would be, like a yacht or whatever
Mhm.
that they added that level inside that big level. And then they added Ghost Town, which like the above there's like a whole bunch of like old western style looking buildings, but then underneath the ground there's a whole entire city as well, in that ghost town. So they've added that. They've done quite a bit of like little tweakings here and there of stuff and adding things since you've played it. But it's essentially it's the same place. But yeah, I've like because basically the way I'm playing that game right now is I play it until I've unlocked all the tiers, all the things that you can unlock, and then
Mhm.
I basically go like just stop playing it until the next season starts. So then that way I can do what I need to do in there and still play other stuff. And so now I'm kind of back into doing that. While I was at Disney, I actually bought the Untitled Goose Game as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought Police Stories, and I like Untitled Goose Game. I like basically just kept on playing that until I was finished because it was just addicting. It was a lot of fun. Like just yeah, and like all the memes and everything coming. I'm just so glad that like it's getting so much recognition, and like so many people are just having fun with it and stuff,
Mhm.
because like that's got to be awesome for the people who made it. Like like I can't imagine how awesome that would be to like make something, and like it's not the most complex game in the world, but it's just another game that proves that you don't have to be these realistic looking graphics, and like all these things. You don't have to like be this gigantic game to be super good and super popular, and it was just awesome to see so many people enjoying it. Because like I just remember like when we seen that very first preview of it,
Uh,
like when it like was just being announced as a thing, like right away I'm like, this game is gonna be fun. And I'm just glad that it like completely like not only like reaches my expectations, but like almost goes beyond my expectations of what it was gonna be. Like I call it the like if Hitman was a goose. Like the new Hitman games. It reminds me a lot in some sense of the new Hitman games, where you just kind of like have people and all these like objectives, and you can kind of go about them in different ways, or attack them from different like directions, or whatever. It like that's what I look at it as. This is almost like the Hitman games, but like played as a goose. So
But it's
like
like you're basically just the town annoyance, and I love it.
yeah, 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 it's great. And then like without spoiling anything, it's like and then like when you get to the end and you find out what this all was for, it's just hilarious. It's just like, my god, are you serious? Like
That's
it
what.
was
Yeah,
fun.
you can't say anything about it because I had a lot of people when I was streaming and ask, "Oh, what's this game about?" And I don't.
Yeah,
You literally don't know until the end.
yeah, because and that's the thing, is it's kind of it's got that it's having that effect where people are seeing the memes and they're like, well, what the heck is this about, or what, why is this? And so yeah, like that's why I don't want to say anything about it, because it's got that domino effect where people are just constantly like interested in it and want to play it. I've seen, many people on Facebook saying, "Oh, I haven't gotten this game yet. I want to play it." And so yeah, it's like it's one of those games I just don't want to really say anything about but at the same time, like want to, talk about it.
It's
funny.
It's so funny looking back at the Nintendo Direct and the Goose popping out and going, huh? And you just see him do this stuff that everybody was just like, this is my new favorite game until it came out. Like, it's good to see everybody's happiness and excitement for it.
Yeah.
I do have it, but I haven't played it yet, and I'll play it later. My turn. But go ahead, Jesse.
So, and then, and like I said, I had bought Police Stories, and I'm enjoying that game. It's it's exactly what I was expecting, but it is, I'll be honest, it's a little difficult just because, like, in order to move on to the next situation, you have to get like a I don't know what kind of grade you need to get for sure, but like like I haven't been getting a passing grade, but like you're on a like A to F like kind of grade, and so like you've got to be able to like do all the things that you need to do, like like secure all 5 hostages, and all this kind of stuff, and it's difficult because like it every time you fail, if you fail it or whatever, or you die and it restarts over again, like the enemies aren't in the same positions, they aren't, like it completely randomizes every single time, so it's not like you can just plan and be like, okay, well, this guy's going to be here and this guy's going to be there and just move in. So like you've got to really like get the systems down. And I think it probably would be easier to play 2-player co-op, because that is an option. Like you can play 2-player co-op, and because you have there's 2 police officers, and and like when you're playing 1 player, it's kind of difficult because you gotta say like, hey, like point at a door and then click on it, and then it gives you this option dial where you can choose to tell him to lock, pick the lock of the door, or tell him to throw a flash grenade through the doorway or whatever, or you can do that as well yourself. And so like playing 1 player, you've got a lot more responsibility of trying to tell that character what to do, and like, so it's kind of like at times it's slowing the process down because you're having to do those things. So I could see where it would be a lot easier to just do it as 2-player, where you can just say vocally, hey, can you do this or whatever, and it's going to be a lot quicker, so. But it still is a really fun game, and it's just kind of a nice change to like me not just always playing like a first person shooter or whatever, getting to play like more of a top down game and have a little bit of a change up for for a style of that kind of game, because like I love Siege, and it's almost like a top down version of Siege. Like that's how I look at it, as because you get like all different kinds of like equipment and things that you can use to like see enemies through doorways, and it has this really cool mechanic where like you can't really see an enemy unless he's in the range of your visuals. So like it will, like when you're on a game, when you have a flashlight, you'll see like the flashlight moving. So it's kind of got like that kind of thing where it's showing you a range of your sight, and unless that enemy is in that range of your sight, they won't be visible on the map. And so like they could be in your range and then they quick run through a door and then you no longer can see where they are or what they're doing. Or if you're too far away from the door, they could be in it shooting at you, but unless you're close enough, you won't see them. So it's got some difficulty to it, definitely. It's not like, it's like they did a really good job of like creating a difficulty without just making it where everyone's a bullet sponge or or whatever. Like the real is like they made the difficulty based on realism. Like if you can't see a guy, he could possibly see you, but if you're not in, like the right area, you're not going to be able to see them, kind of thing. So it's been fun, and that's a game that's on Switch, I believe, only. I'm not sure. I know it's on. I think it was on PC. It might be on X. I'm not sure, but I know for sure it's on Switch and PC. Because it's been out for a long time on PC already, but it was in in the earlier stages or whatever. So yeah, but a lot of people were enjoying it on PC, and now you can play it on Switch, and it's an enjoyable game if you like that kind of thing. So.
All right. Well, just gonna do a quick rundown because I have one particular game that I started. For Xbox, still doing Just Cause 3, getting a little bit further into that. For PS4, I installed The Last of Us Remastered, so I'm going to be doing that and Resident Evil 5 for Halloween, kind of like for my October spooky games. For Switch, played a little bit more Astral Chain, Final Fantasy 9, Untitled Goose Game, Contra Rogue Corps. I've been playing just a little bit more of an anniversary. But I started up Daemon X Machina finally. And from what you got from the regular demo, even before you even played the prototype, because I didn't play the prototype. I was gonna play it, but then I'm just like, I ended up buying the full game, so I got the better experience. Playing the regular demo, it shows the improvements that they made for this game, and I literally am putting it like in my Game of the Year nomination. I'm having so much fun with this. You guys could check out my Twitter at ThatRetroCode and see my customized character. I haven't posted my mech yet because I want to unlock more colors and patterns and stuff, and then I want to apply that to my mech so I can have the ultimate cool look. I was thinking of doing the color scheme from my Emptor character, but I decided, you know what? My main character is different because customizing your main character, there's a lot of options, and it's so cool having like these nice blue neon eyes that's not preset in the game, like just getting that right color and everything. My characters look so cool. I just love seeing them and everything. But gameplay wise, it's fun, fast. I haven't encountered any stuttering. I haven't had any kind of frame rate drops or none of that. Shooting your enemies, there's a indicator, with the lock on, but there's also now like a target thing that's locked on, so you're able to see where they're at on screen and on the little radar stuff. Like, it really is good. It's one of the games that I don't know why it got the reviews that it got. I think they should be higher, but only play like the first 4 levels in this.
Well,
and
I got the reviews that it got. Why?
Actually no, because I think in a climate of mecha games, there's not a lot of people who play them here in America. Like I look at the people who are fans of From Software, and not one of them continue to mention anything about Armored Core, because that was what From Software at a time was known for. So, and people still won't go back to Armored Core and play those games. They don't talk about Retro on some of the Gundam games and everything. Like, mech games are not big in America. They're very niche. But like Daemon X Machina, I feel like it's kind of an intro to my first mecha game. And I think if more people would play this game, I think they would enjoy it. They may have thoughts, they may not like it, but for me personally, I'm thoroughly enjoying this game. Like,
there you go. You're enjoying it, and that's what matters.
Yes.
But I will say it's to the overall consumer it's an okay game. This is a game that is something that, purchase it when it's on sale. This game is okay. I mean, I'm a very big fan of mech. Like I've played every single Armored Core. I grew up on those games essentially. I love mech games. It's one of my favorite genres. This game does not live up to the legacy of that genre. Like you said, it's an entry level game, but it's got a lot of they could have done more.
I think because I think some people have based it already off just the demo and prototype, or they already made their decision about the game.
I mean, but that's the point, Ed. That you put out those games because you want people to try them and make a decision on them, and they are pretty significant chunk. I mean, both demos of the game, and so.
Well, I think a lot of people, because I'm just saying that their reactions to the demo, that it looks like, even though they may have not liked them, a lot of people are just like, I'm not picking the game up at all because it don't interest me or anything. And I don't know if people who
fair.
have
That's a very fair assessment.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because as much as Anthem got all the negative press and stuff, people still went out to buy Anthem. And if that was going to be the same case from Daemon X Machina, I think people would have got more.
Daemon X Machina to Anthem. Anthem had so much hype going into it. Daemon X Machina virtually had nothing.
Right, but I think if you look at how those demos were done, and even though Anthem's demo was a little bit satisfactory, but didn't prove to be what the full game was, like you didn't really a lot of people were just disappointed out of Anthem. If the demo was a little bit satisfactory for Daemon X Machina and people still went and bought Daemon X Machina, I think the outcome would have been different. I think there would have been like a big disappointment.
I'm sure there are people who did play the demo and then decided to go buy the game. I mean, it's just most people found that Daemon X Machina just wasn't for them.
Wasn't it? And see, I wish I could hear more of that and stuff. Because to me personally, it would show that at least you gave Marvelous and Grasshopper a try. You know, to give the game a try, to give a new IP a try and everything, and because I hope they do a Daemon X Machina too. Like I really want to play more of the game and give more opinion about it, and like really be committed to see this game to the end. Before I make a real final judgment, but just like from what I personally played, I was just like, man, this is like Game of the Year nomination for me. So,
I think the thing with Anthem too is they did a good job of making it more appealing to to the masses. Like they made it not feel like a mech game, even though you technically were kind of somewhat in a mech. You know, kind of thing. Like they were able to kind of blur the lines of what you were doing and make it feel just like a regular shooter game, but make it, like, so then the people who like mechs, there would be hints of that kind of thing in it, but at the same time, like, like not making it like overly, because like I used to play Mech Assault back in the day, and I like mech. I liked mech type stuff too. I never really got into it super hardcore because like it wasn't that I didn't like it enough. It's just like I was the only like one in my friends group that really had any interest in it, and so it was like, like back in the day it was more about multiplayer and stuff, and I did try because I had it for, was it regular Xbox or for PlayStation? It was one of the I think it was Xbox.
I was about to say, I think it was Xbox as well.
Yeah, because I remember it distinctly. It came with 2 discs, and the second disc you could put in another Xbox, and then you could do the LAN link, and you could then let your friend play with you multiplayer. Because they gave you the second disc purposely so you could play multiplayer with friends who don't buy the game, which was really cool at the time. Like that was awesome. Yeah. It's kind of like I believe on Xbox they did that with Command and Conquer as well. I think Command and Conquer had 2 discs and you could play multiplayer, landline multiplayer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember for sure, but I just know there were some games like that Xbox had decided that they wanted to put another disc in it just so you could play multiplayer without friends having to buy a copy of the game as well. So, but yeah, so like I'll say like I did start up the demo of the Daemon Ex Machina, and I did like that newer demo much more than the first one. But
yeah, and I think, and I, like I was telling Corey, like that first one, they wanted everybody's opinion. They weren't like, this is what you're going to get. They were just like, we guys want you to try it out, give us the feedback, so your feedback can help make this game better. They did it. I feel like they did it right, because they didn't say when the game was coming out. They wanted to know what could be better to make this game. So if people do get it, they see the improvements that were made. Because a lot of developers don't do that. Like when they put their demo out, that they won't, even though it's going to be a selective feedback, they're still checking social media to see what people are saying and taking that into account. So,
or a lot of the times they do that, but you don't see it until the open beta comes out.
That's what I was about to say. I'm about to say, I'm pretty sure most devs are doing that, because demos are a vertical slice of a game. It's literally a vertical slice, and they want you to try it. And I'm sure that they don't just stop there. It's them. They still go and they work on their game.
Well, asking for actual feedback. You don't see a lot of developers.
Sure, in the age that we live in social media, I'm sure they're always watching. I mean, they probably won't take every suggestion, but they are paying attention, I would hope.
Yeah, I think they are rushing. I agree with that. I just wish they would just like, hey, this is our demo. We would love to have your feedback. Like that follow up for them saying it.
Be careful with that, because then you get the people who are just assholes to be assholes. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get what you're saying, but I know the realistic reason that's not really the way it's done. They invite people to come in. They invite people who care about the game to come in and give that feedback, which is important. But an open casting call, nah.
Well, and they did say that we were going to have selected people to give us that feedback, but we are still paying attention to everybody's feedback. And if they see stuff that's common, then they know what they could fix, because this is a common problem. I just feel like they did it right compared to like what Elton did. But we're gonna get into these news bits. That's what we all been getting down to. And Corey's been getting down to Fire Emblem and The Legend of Zelda and A Link to the Past. So just throwing that out there for some of the games that he's been playing. So our first one.
The one thing too, I was gonna say, I forgot I actually started the new game plus of Far Cry 5 again. So I've been playing that from the beginning, because I just love that game. It's still like one of my favorite.
I see. By the way, streaming it.
When is this show coming out?
This one will be out next week, I think Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, I can say it now. I've been given early access to Indivisible, and we'll be playing that on Monday. So just kind of a sneak peek. So we'll be able to talk about that more next weekend.
Yes, awesome. Yes. So we're gonna get into the news. Shinji, before we get into the news, because you said that game. Is it just a pre-built? Because they're not finished with the game, right? Because it don't come out till next year.
Done. Well, the game comes out Monday. Well, not Monday. It actually comes out Tuesday, but I get it on Monday. So, well, actually, I have it now.
I thought they delayed.
Can't talk about it really until Tuesday.
I thought they. Reason I asked is because I thought they delayed it to next year.
Nope.
But it is finished now.
Indivisible is done.
Okay, so we're gonna get into these news bits. Shinji Mikami had to ban the Resident Evil developers from playing Tetris Attack. This story comes from Nintendo, Nintendo Live. Hideo Kamiya and his brother were being interviewed, and he had this to say: "When I was working on Resident Evil, Tetris Attack was really popular at the office. We played against each other every day to the point where work got ignored, and Mikami-san had to put out an order banning Tetris Attack. A while later, when I went back home, my brother was there playing Tetris Attack. Now I was one of the better players at the office, so I thought I'll take him on. But once we got going, his brother laughed. He destroyed me. I couldn't do anything. Awakening. Toyota, he says, you didn't win at all. The person who was interviewing Kamiya, he says, not once. He was on another level compared to everyone guys at work. It was like I hit a wall. I probably still couldn't beat him. We played Planet Puzzle League too, but he was still really good. And then they talked about some other things, but like because of Resident Evil being delayed or being made, the Mus was playing Tetris Attack, and that's for the Nintendo 64. That is crazy. But have you ever guys like actually you wanted to do something, but this game took priority or took time, or you just got locked into it?
Oh, well, like with me, like recently, like with working on making music, like I have times where sometimes that like is battling with other things and like, and I want to do that. And it's like, but I need to do this or whatever, but I'll let you guys go. And then I want to actually bring up another little story that's dealing with Tetris 2 that I learned about.
What about you, Ray? Anything?
No, beyond that, like just October's gonna be fun. I'm playing some spooky games for the first time in a while, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, playing BioShock for the first time will be kind of great.
Oh goodness, that game. Ooh, that's a pre-show that will have
Space.
Yeah, I have to play
Dead Space. No, I'm good.
Dead Space. You gotta play that, man. It's such an amazing game.
I think that's on my list also because I have it on my Xbox One.
Like seriously, it's like Resident Evil 2 and Dead Space. Like those are like my some of the best games of all time. Like Dead Space is just so amazing how they do things in that game, and just it's so awesome.
So Jesse, in peace, Dead Space. Yes. Jesse, what was your story about Tetris Attack?
Okay, so no, it's just about Tetris in general. Okay, so, and you guys maybe know this story already, but just for like the listeners, like if just kind of a little fun story. Okay, so back in the day, like, before we had like right in the game, it would kind of tell you like how well your friends are doing or whatever, and like the like scoreboards and stuff like that. Like Nintendo Power used to print them in Nintendo Power, and so they would have a leaderboard for Tetris, and Steve Wozniak, that used to work for Microsoft, like was a co-founder of Microsoft. He used to be at the top of the leaderboards on Tetris all the time, and so it got to the point of where they stopped posting his score because he would always be number one on there. So then he had to start putting a fake name in so he could get back on the leaderboard. Yeah, but yeah, like Nintendo Power is like, okay, enough of this. And so they stopped putting his score up there, and because no one could ever beat him. Like he was just like amazing at the game, and if I remember correctly, a lot of times he was like super far ahead of everyone. And so then he had to start using a fake name and so he could get back on the leaderboards.
Oh, wow. I want to be that good at something where I gotta use a fake name. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna move on. Untitled Goose Game is a huge success. Team says it could keep making games as long as they live. We all saw it coming, but Untitled Goose Game has become a tremendous success. Since its launch on September 20th, the game has managed to find itself sitting at the top of the Switch eShop charts in a number of countries, sometimes even squeezing ahead of Nintendo's very own The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening. And the game's quirky star has become something of a meme and internet icon over the past couple of weeks too. Developer House has been humbly sharing its gratitude towards players on social media. In an interview with ABC, the game's co-creator Nico De Soldor has hinted toward just how great the game's release has been for the team. ABC's report notes that Düsseldorf was reluctant to reveal how many downloads their new game has had, but says it is excess of 100,000. Yeah, 100,000. If we had to guess, we say the total's quickly rising well beyond that. In the industry full of studios closures and tough breaks for developers, Mario & Luigi RPG studio Alpha Dream was the most recent big name to file for bankruptcy. It's refreshing to see success like this. In the same interview, Düsseldorf said, "We could go on and keep making video games as long as we like now." And they are working now on trying to get the game to Xbox One and PS4. But congrats to them. They really made a game. The behind the scenes stuff about how the game came about is quite interesting and funny. But the reason why I feel like and why this game came kind of ahead of Link's Awakening is that Link's Awakening I think sold better physical than it did digital. Because I don't know about you, Jesse or Ray, or on my timeline, I just kept seeing people posting pictures of their physical boxes of the games. Wow, people have just been talking about Untitled Goose Game and doing all the memes and stuff. Seeing those physical stuff, I think Link's Awakening sold better physically than digitally because everybody wanted that game with the amiibo. So I can understand why Goose Game would do better than Link's Awakening when it comes to digital. So, but any thoughts?
Yes, I mean Goose Game is only available digitally.
Yes.
So I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure people are also buying Zelda digitally, but it's basically pointing out that it did better than Zelda on the eShop, which is still huge, mind you.
Yes.
That's not an easy thing to do. It's not because people are buying it more physically. No, that's still an impressive feat in itself. I kind of feel like Goose Game is very fun. It's silly. It's simple. Anybody can see it and play it and easily understand. It's just it's a fun, simple game that is executed really well, really well. And I feel like it's just right place, right time. There's a lot of games out right now that are just kind of like, okay, yeah, it's another Zelda or it's another shooting game. This is something truly different, and it's refreshing, and it works for what it is. Like I don't get me wrong, I love Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening is my favorite Zelda game. And it does the Zelda formula to me perfectly. But this Goose Game is just fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not a knock to Link's Awakening. Both games are so good and they're existing and they're doing very well numbers. It's good to see that a new IP, this new idea, come out and sell the way that they sold.
I mean, I love seeing that any game done well can do well on the Nintendo eShop.
Yeah. Look at Cuphead itself. Cuphead was like number 5 in the pre-sales, and then it slowly was going to number 1. And then when the game came out, it stayed at number 1, I think, for 2 weeks. So the
power of the Switch, it's wild, and I can't wait to see what we get next year. So although I am just kind of like bracing myself to see how Pokemon does because I kind of feel like it's gonna be wild. So.
Yeah. I'm blacking out on Pokemon, but I still want people to talk about Pokemon and post their ideas and artwork and everything that their fandom. I still want them to still do that, but I have blacked out because I don't want to read anything. Even though Game Informer is coming up with their cover.
Weren't on the internet last night at all because it was everywhere last night and this morning.
I didn't even know they was doing the live stream, so I didn't even watch it or anything.
I won't tell you the very important thing that came out of that.
I'm gonna have to watch that. No. Yeah, because I didn't know about it. I've just been completely disconnected. Like when I was at Disney, I was just completely disconnected from everything. Like
Well, that's good.
yeah, that's what I needed. That's what I needed to do was just enjoy being there and just kind of forget about everything else for that whole
Yes.
time and just, like because that's what a vacation is for.
Exactly. Well, we gonna get into this last point, piece of news before we get into questions. The question corner. There was a lot of Sony news that dropped. We didn't cover state of play, so I'm gonna just run down some games for that. Sean Layden is leaving. Crossplay is going to be available for all the developers now. Um, Iron Man VR is coming out February 28th. Humanity by Enhance and Thaw is coming out 2020. This is the state of play stuff. They show a little bit more of Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. October 25th, that game will be out with Special Ops Survival Mode play first on PS4. That's for a whole year. Watan by Funamina and Annapurna from the creator Katamari Damacy and Nobi Nobi Boy will be out in December 2019. Arise by Techland Publishing and Piccolo is a 2D adventure game coming soon. Beautiful game, by the way. The way the animation, what I've seen, I'm like, if this just stays on PlayStation 4 and come to Switch later, I'll double dip. Like I am buying it on PS4. It's a beautiful game. They talked about some VR games, LA Noire, the VR Case Files, which is out now. Gorn, winter 2019. Aspire 1 VR Operative is out. It came out last month. I don't know what day though. Stardust Odyssey is coming out winter 2019. After the Fall is another VR game, and then it ended up with Space Channel 5 VR. Kind of funky news flash in autumn of 2019. So sometime this quarter. Medieval demo, Other Ocean slash Emeryville is out now. You can claim Dan's helmet, and the demo is there until October 6th. It's a very short demo. I played that and I was done with it within 10 minutes. It's like really short. Civilization 6 by Frontier 2K is going to come out November 22nd. Rise and Fall and Gathering Storm expansion bundle is going to be sold separately. There's going to be free Nubia and Khmer, Indonesia, City, Civ, and Scenario Pack for the system. Death Stranding Pro is going to have a PS4 bundle November 8th. After Party, these is from by Night School. It's from the creators of Oxenfree, and that's coming soon. And PlayStation Plus will have The Last of Us and MLB The Show 19. Last of least, they show The Last of Us 2 trailer. They show more gameplay and places that you'll visit, and that'll be out February 21st.
It's a lot.
So, that is a lot. The show was about 29 minutes. A lot of people were like, it was okay. A lot of people were disappointed with it. But Ray, I know you've seen it and you probably have something to say about it. I don't, Jesse. I don't know if were able to check it out or anything.
I watched some of it. I didn't get to finish it, but okay. I did try to watch it.
Ray, do you have any thoughts?
We're at the end of a generation, and it's just kind of like, yeah, whatever they do right now isn't going to be mind blowing or like, oh my god, I can't believe they did that. Like, they're saving that. They want to save that hype, but I guess I understand that. But they could still do it if they wanted to. Is what I'm gonna say. If they wanted to do stuff like that, they could. They just chose not to, and I'm not mad at them for it. I thought it was decent. I didn't watch the whole thing either. Like, I didn't even watch it live. I watched bits and pieces of it, which was. I feel like the better way to watch it, honestly. So,
yeah, I watched it live.
It's just kind of, yeah, they did that, and I'm glad that we are adopting this different form of presentation. It doesn't have to be a giant stage presentation for it to be worth anything. Mm-hmm. I'm glad we're finally getting. Yes, Nintendo started it, but it doesn't mean that the other ones can't do it. They'll do it their own way, hopefully. I mean, there were some definite similarities between this and the Nintendo Direct, but you know what? Imitation is the highest form of flattery. You know what I'm saying? So they look to those, and they're done well, and I'm okay with it. So, all right.
Yeah, some people just felt like it felt dry. Like they nothing about that like really wowed them. Like besides like Arise, kind of did. Like I was expecting to see more of the Alien versus or the Predator game that they're making on. I was about to say Alien versus Predator, but the Predator game they was working on, I was expecting them to show more of that, and even talk about Concrete Jungle and do some follow up about the people who made
Big Planet.
Big Planet with their game. I think I just want to see Sony speak more about that. Give us some updates about some of the stuff. And they kind of it's good that they show new things, but the past stuff that they showed, it kind of like they just left that to not die, but left that out of the presentation when it should have been needed. You know.
I mean, I don't necessarily think it was needed. It would have been nice to see probably, but I don't think it was needed. It's just like I said, these things are all subjective, and I mean, yes, they showed certain things that would have made people more excited about other parts of it, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're doing okay.
Yeah, and it sounded like they had a lot of games to touch on too, so that kind of leaves you with not as much free time to really maybe get into things as much as you'd like to. But
you know, there are things that might not just be ready yet. They're just not.
I think with them giving a date to the Iron Man VR, people still don't know what that's all about. So that's why I feel like a follow up.
VR. I'm sorry, there's not much else you need to know about it. It's VR.
I think people want to know what the story is about or something. Because I think and this is just me, I think because of what Nintendo did with the Nintendo Direct, and which is doing games, like giving us stuff that was unexpected, giving some stuff that
was unexpected, but it was stuff that we already like have. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
so that's nice. Yes.
I mean, for some of it, yeah, but like we almost got like 9 games in the first 7 minutes of the Nintendo Direct, and everything was just like, you know, this is out now. This is what's unexpected. Didn't nobody know that Divinity Original Sin 2 coming to Switch? Like, and it's out like Doom 64.
I mean,
like,
let me. Yes, that is awesome. It's great, but we've had Divinity for like 2 years.
Well, yeah, but you wouldn't think that a game like that would be on Switch. Like,
I 100% would think it would be. If they put Diablo 3 on Switch, they could put Divinity on Switch.
Well, yeah, but a lot of PC games like are now really making their presence known on Switch.
Which is fine because I mean it lets you know that you can put almost anything on Switch. The Switch can run a game. As long as you're willing to develop for it.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, here's Divinity, you guys can play it. It's out now. Go. Like they just threw it out the window and someone caught it. Just like, wait, y'all didn't even give us time to breathe yet. Like, just killer announcements were just being made, and people were just like trying to post as fast on social media. It looked like when I was watching the State of Play, when I got done, I was just trying to look for anybody else's thoughts besides like the Last of Us Part 2, because that was the only thing that people was talking about.
That's what people want though. See, when you have a show like that and you have something as monstrous as The Last of Us, nothing else is going to compare.
I think, well, yeah, but I was just like,
imagine had they put Zelda in that show with the rest of these games, nothing else would have mattered because Zelda was there to destroy everything else's mind share. Think about that.
But you would think that compared to the Nintendo Direct, people are breaking stuff down, like shocked and being able to talk about, like, I think you have a successful showing if people are talking more about your games, like breaking it down or announcing it, seeing the hype for it, or like, wow, they're bringing this and this. No, they're doing this instead of just be like, okay, The Last of Us, that's it.
I think the thing is too is if you were a more part of like the active community for that.
Yeah.
For PlayStation though, they might be thinking the same thing you are, but on the opposite direction. That I don't hear much about Nintendo stuff, but I hear about Last of Us, and I hear about this, and I hear it's kind of like the VR stuff. Like I feel like as a whole, like we don't really like I don't do much in the VR. You don't really, Ed. Corey doesn't, like Ray, you're kind of like you've got a little bit into the VR world.
I've got my toes in it. Yeah.
But like I feel like there's a reason why Sony has really been going pretty hard on showing the VR stuff, because it obviously is selling, and like me personally, even though I don't have it, like the main reason I want to eventually now get a PlayStation is because I would like to play a lot of that VR stuff. Like for me personally, their VR stuff is selling me a console.
And
like
it was
wanting to get one more than I had.
They're giving more utility over your console rather than just, hey, put this disc in, download this game. You have a whole separate experience you can do.
Yeah. And VR at a point for PlayStation was hot. It was trending. Everybody was talking about it. People were really saying that now it's in its stride.
I'm about to say they still are. I mean, it's not the Nintendo Switch, but the PlayStation VR stuff is still really good. I think you're going based just off what you see on social media, which is fine because that's where you see things. But it's still doing pretty well.
Yeah, and I try to check I try to check PlayStation fans and seeing what they're talking about, seeing what they're saying and everything. And like my Twitter feed alone is that I have various gamers on there, and I love seeing their excitement for it. I just think that it just felt like every time I see the state of play that people come away with it. Yeah, they're getting this particular game, but the excitement is just like they could have did more.
I feel like you're always gonna get that from Sony though, always. Because people just have very high expectation for Sony, which is fine. I feel like you're always gonna get that. The last time people were really excited, like to the point where I think you're trying to get at, is when we got the announcement for the PlayStation 4, and it'll be the same for the PlayStation 5. Unless it's not exactly what people want.
I think the level of when Shenmue 3 got announced, when Final Fantasy 7 got announced, I think it was Uncharted 4. I think it was
PlayStation Experience type things, which was a group full of PlayStation fans, like hardcore fans.
Right, and that was kind of
Final Fantasy 7 one. I was there for that one, and it was so hype.
Right, and you know what? And that's the kind of like hypeness that I want state of play to come from. You know, like people being excited, having that type of level. Yes, you can do it for one game, but I guess I was looking for that same kind of excitement. Because I don't think the state of play was bad at all. I think it was really good. They really came out with some strong games. They could add 2 or 3 more games and made it a little bit longer. But I'm just saying that this one particular game, just The Last of Us, a lot of people feel like, well, this is enough that it was just the best state of play. And it's just like, not from a lot of people's reactions. And I wish that more people were talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare, was talking about Humanity, was talking about Arise, Space Channel 5, the VR stuff. Like, I wish more people were talking about it so much so that it could show that the titles that there was announced were really strong enough to have people hype level really up there. Because like I said, our hype level for that Nintendo Direct in September, it was just like game after game. This stuff was trending like crazy on Twitter. People were going crazy about it on Facebook and probably in a whole bunch of other discussions, and I wanted that to be the same thing for the state of play. Yes, Last of Us 2 is trending, but I want all of their games that they showed at this state of play to be trending too, so it could show that there is interest from people, from a lot of PlayStation owners or just gamers in general.
I mean, last thing I'm gonna say about it is I'm sure there is interest, and yes, it might not have been trending because it's not super popular.
Yes,
there are people who are excited for these things. Yeah, the state of play could have been much better, but I mean, it doesn't mean that it was bad. And plus,
it wasn't bad.
This one they've done, they'll get better. Just be patient.
And that's why I feel like when I saw Arise, like The Last of Us 2 was kind of expected and everything. It looks great and everything. But Arise was just like, man, the soundtrack, what the story is, like something about this indie game, and it may have just been the art, like something about this trailer just appealed something to me. And that just might be me as a gamer. But we're going to get into the question corner because we got 3 good questions, and I cannot wait to hear the answers for these. So our first question comes from Jamal Wallace. Hey, y'all. I found your show and I'm really happy to see some representation in the Black gaming community driving the show. Not enough of that out there, I feel. So my question is about the same thing. Do you think there is enough representation out there, Black or otherwise? I don't see a lot of Asian, Latino women or others out there. What do you uh, what do you think about the state of representation and gamer protagonists? So let's break this this one kind of down.
A lot of questions there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there is enough representation out there, Black or otherwise? Uh, there is. Sometimes you just have to go look for it. Some,
So I
um,
want to like rephrase that question. Is there enough diversity in terms of like African American, Latino women? Is there enough are there enough of those in the mainstream? No, nah, there's not.
yes.
There's a lot of just content being created by people of color all over the place.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to go looking for it. You
And
gotta
it,
find.
right, and it actually goes outside of gaming. It depends on what you cater to. There's probably cooking podcasts. There's probably historian podcasts that different races and different genders really cover. You just gotta go out there and find it.
Mhm.
So
Which
it
is
is out.
the unfortunate part for me. It's like, yeah, it's a lot harder to find it, but there is so much content out there being created, and I don't feel like
Mhm.
there are enough. There aren't enough things being done to help get this content to the forefront. Because yes, it can still be incredible and
Yeah.
still not be found.
Yeah,
And it's easy to
saturation's
say,
an issue.
yeah, it's easy to say, oh well, it's just not good enough. Well, that's not necessarily true. It could be fantastic, and it's still just really hard to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much out there.
Go ahead, Jesse. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's like like a lot of things. I mean, you do see things changing and it becoming less of an issue, but yeah, it is still kind of an issue. And I mean, you see it everywhere. You still see it in movies. You still see it in a lot of things. And like, luckily we do have people out there who are trying to change that. And like, you've got stuff like the what is it, Hidden Figures, that movie where they're showing you that it wasn't just white people who are doing things, like, in focusing more on the diversity that has played important roles throughout history, or be it a lot of things. So like, I think slowly but surely we hopefully will see more of that stuff. And people are trying. And like, the best thing you can do, like, being a white male, is trying to help support that kind of stuff, and try to get things out there. Like, it's you've got to put in some work yourself in trying to promote things, and
Mhm.
to help it as well.
It's
So
not just gonna happen because you're a diverse, a diverse cast. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Don't.
yeah,
That's not how it works.
yeah,
But there's now more than ever when
yeah,
it comes to diverse content like this, which is
yeah,
amazing, and I love it.
yeah,
But it's just we still have to get it to a point where it's not that it's just easier to find, but that it's more visible. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
yeah. And another thing too, like, me and Ed were talking about, like, about the modern warfare and stuff, like, or about the Call of Duty games before the show and stuff. How like, unfortunately, a lot of times, like, there isn't enough, like, where maybe the United States is the enemy in the game, or things like that. And I said, well, that comes down to a whole nother problem. But
Hmm.
like, like, there sometimes it's like, like GTA games, where things aren't always exactly uh highlighted in the right light. Like,
Yeah.
as far as when it comes to other ethnicities and things like that as well. and that's kind of a bummer, too, that we have to still, sometimes deal with that kind of stuff. And I mean, I get it. Grand Theft Auto is supposed to be a cult, like a, not really a culture, but like be focusing on a, like the way of life, like this thugster way of life. Yeah. So like, I get it. I'm not saying that that's necessarily bad, but there are some things that have come along with the Grand Theft Auto games that haven't exactly been the greatest things to have. But yeah, it's, that's the problem, is sometimes some of the stuff that we have isn't exactly in a position that you'd like it to be when focusing on an ethnicity or whatever. Mm-hmm. So like, hopefully like a lot of that stuff will go away as well, but or not be as prevalent. But it's definitely out there, and unfortunately it takes a little bit of work sometimes right now, but I think there are enough people out there trying to make a difference, and like I said, like, all you can do is try to do your part to support and bring it forward and talk about it like this. This is a great way of doing it, is bringing up a great question like this to have people talk about and bring it to the forefront. So.
Yeah. Well, let's take the second question, then we'll move on. What do you think about the state and representation and gaming protagonists?
That's still really weak, but it is getting better. I feel like now it's better than it has been in years.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Yes. I think, aside for customizing characters and stuff, when we are given a main character, I think, like you say, kind of stuff is slowly building, but as more games come out, hopefully, and actually more developers that are from different cultures, hopefully they are able to tell their story, give their creative vision with their protagonist and antagonist. It'd be someone of different color. Like, if we get more of that, I think we will be starting to get into a good spot that games are really expanding. That and there's not just a stereotype of it, because I think, yes, we're always going to have the white male protagonist or white female protagonist, but I think if you are willing to be a gamer who wants to take a risk and check out new stuff, you will buy a game like Mafia 3 or Sleeping Dogs, or you would buy something even with a female, because there are some sexist men out there who won't play a game with a female leading character.
Unfortunate for them, but go off.
Right. Right. So, I think as long as games are continually to grow, look, everybody's in love with a goose at this time, so that says a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Gender binary goose. It doesn't matter whether it's a boy or a girl. It's
a goose. But no, I feel that. I like I said, it's better now, but there's still room for more. Honestly. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with there being a white male or white female protagonist, but I want there to be more diverse protagonists. I just do. There's nothing.
Yeah.
I also want to see myself be the knight that's saving the kingdom as the main character, not a creative character. Not just because it's not historically accurate. I don't care. It's a video game. It's fantasy.
Yeah, we're not playing this for historical accuracy.
Exactly.
I actually wrote for a Beauty of Video Games that I want to even see diversity in the antagonists. I want to see a wheelchair bounded head boss that just creates mass chaos. I would love to see a gang of, this might sound crazy, of homosexuals just really bringing terror to a village or something. I want to see some crazy stuff, because we can have that representation in the protagonist, but I want to see some insane stuff that you would never think of, that may push the barriers, may be offensive, but someone took a risk of it to show how an evil person really brings out that nature of being a villain out. I would love to see more of that too.
In Dead Rising, and the first Dead Rising, one of the bosses was it a guy? I think it was a white guy or a white girl or something that was in a like fat, like obese, and in like one of those motorized scooter things.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes,
then
it was. Yeah.
and she would chase you around, and then if you made her bump into stuff, she would just start vomiting everywhere, and then that's when you would have to shoot her. Like that
Wow.
game, man. That game was so
some
great.
weird stuff. Some weird stuff.
But we need more of that. We love that weird stuff.
Yeah.
What we're gonna move on. Deshaun Malone asks, "How do y'all feel about E3 and the proposed new way the show is seemingly going to run?" And what he's talking about, that the show's gonna have more game influencers like YouTube content creators and stuff like that. I'm fine with it.
Sounds like they're making E3 into like a PAX instead of E3.
Yeah. It's really going to be hard to answer this in a way, because is it after the conferences or anything, or is it during the conferences? Because like if it's after the conference, I'm fine with whatever they're doing. If it's during the conference, because that one YouTuber who was with EA, 2017, when he was trying to 2018, I think, no, 17, sorry, when he was trying to like present a game and he was nervous and he was messing up and stuff, and this is live. I think if they're trying to do stuff with that, it's gonna feel awkward, and a lot of people gonna be like, "This doesn't work at all." Y'all can still do stuff for E3, but do it after the show. Let the professionals and the people who are developers of these games, who know what they're doing, let them present and showcase what they have. So, I'm fine with it, but it just needs to be after those conferences are done and people want to talk and showcase more of the games.
I think like I'd be fine, and I think it is kind of going to be a mix of both. I think there's going to be only certain content creators who will, like get to experience or be like, playing a game. You know how sometimes with games when they're showing it off, they'll have like people playing it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just going to try to focus more on trying to get more of content creators being able to like stream or play the game while they're doing it or something. Like that's the thing, is I don't really quite know exactly how they're going to go about it quite yet. I don't think we're going to know truly until we actually see it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they're ultimately trying to do is they want to have the content creators bringing more of the regular gamer individual coming to the thing after the the conferences. Like they're trying to, I think, have more reason for the common person to want to come and and actually feel like they're getting their money's worth to come and actually go to E3.
Like I said, they want, but in order for E3 to survive, it's got to change, because it can't just be a press show. They have to include a community aspect to that, and who's the ones that are bringing in the everyday, relatively inexpensive, if not free, content creators. They have hundreds of thousands of people in their audiences across, millions even across all of their audiences combined, and to bring those people into this event, to get more people talking about E3, knowing about E3, wanting to be E3, is a win for them technically. But we all know E3 is this professional stage show where companies come and show us what they have next, and that's it. Like we get excited about this, but they really want to change. They want to do something different. And if they do want to go the PAX route but keep the stage shows, I think they might have a pretty decent idea on their hands. But for the people who've been there, and I've never been to an E3 and I want to go to one still, they're like, well, how are we gonna get, people? I think people are more concerned about, well, how am I gonna get to do my job with all these other people? Like, I mean, I guess the same way you were doing it before, but people have done it at these big shows. Now they want, it's more of they're trying to make it a fan show rather than a press show. And that's why. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to get into the last question. This one is from Ashley Davidson. The end of a generation is near, but the start of one is on the horizon. But we are entering a weird state where console generation lines will become blurry based on digital stores, linked accounts, etc. What are your thoughts on the upcoming generation, and what do you expect out of the future generations to come? Um. Okay. So, um, because it's more of a digital age, um, consoles still need physical hardware. They still need to have a disc or a cartridge. And reason why is because of licensing. That's the one big thing that separates uh physical and digital media. Even your link accounts. All of that is separated by license. When you have a physical version of a licensed game, you can always pop it in and play it. If you have a digital version of a game, you have to somehow keep that on a separate hard drive, external hard drive, and you can never delete that off your system. Because if you do, you'll never get it back, and you lose out on the money that you use to get that game. So I
Well,
think
except I
future.
mean, except for like it saves in the cloud. I mean,
Yeah.
like
So
It
it's
saves.
I think the better thing to focus on is that you can't play it unless you're connected to the internet.
that
Like that's the issue. That's the main issue.
I mean, yes, it is the fear of the games that you want is valid. It is, but that's not happening
Yeah.
as often as
Yeah.
the game that you have disconnected. Like you literally just can't play. It's your fault. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Case in point, just Xbox had play Gears 5. And we were paying for this service and we couldn't play it because it's always online, you know?
Mhm.
So it's one of those things. Yes, we should be worried about games going away
Yeah.
because, the licensing runs out, something like that. But I think we're also getting to a point where that's not as big of a deal as it has been because I feel going to a more digital just infrastructure in general. So I feel like that's not as big of a problem going forward. But yeah, video games that you can't play offline, that's I don't like can't play.
Well, it's even when you lose power at your house or anything. If you can't Switch is a good example of kind of the future of games, how it's a hybrid of a console and a handheld. And if you lose power, you can still play big AAA games on your Switch in the dark while waiting for the power come on. Or you could go to your car or USB, whatever you want to see. If you got the external kind of USB that you could hook up with that's power, hook it up and still be able to continue your progress on a game. Now, the only thing you can't do is if you're doing anything online, like if you're trying to do a Smash tournament or anything. But if you got family members and y'all want to play local, it it y'all are in the same house, y'all got y'all switches out, y'all want to do Mario Kart, y'all go spend time because it's all in the house and it's connected and it don't need an internet. Uh, it doesn't need like an internet connection for that to happen.
Yeah, and there's still a lot of people out there who just don't have good internet either, that
Hmm.
they can't even download a game digitally if they wanted to, because it would take them like a week to download it or whatever. So there's that issue too that that's still got to be taken care of. So like those people aren't gonna want to wait a week to to play a game. Like have to wait a week until after it came out. So they're gonna want to go and get a physical copy of it. So
Yeah.
like as far as the like moving forward, like I honestly think that the like a lot of these things that we're kind of getting a taste of, like crossplay and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I
Hey,
think a lot of those things are going to kind of wide open, like with the next generation. I think they're not focusing on it as much right now because they're working on it for the next generation, and so like they don't want to waste too much time on it now because back, right now when they can have a better